Alright fellas, here it is, Hank Mat 1, or Hank Snow 1. Got a 2007 Acura Mdx, had a p0401 code. Took everything apart yesterday and took the cover of the motor off. Right there it's just two little points that you just pull everything up. Get a light. You shine down here on that rail right above the coil packs. That's where the cover attaches to, that little hole right here. And another point right there. Well, anyway, took it apart yesterday and cleaned out the throttle body and the intake and all that other stuff, and ended up with a pretty decent running vehicle for a night. And then in the morning, it threw a p0404 code. That's EGR valve not closing or stuck open code. So today, I come in the garage, tear it back apart. I started to take all this stuff off, the air filter box and the intake hose and, all of the stuff that comes with it. And then I thought about it and I was like, well, I don't really have to take that off. All I have to actually do is take this rail off right here, or unloosen it. There are two 10mm bolts, one right here and one right there. You take that off, you unloosen your coil packs, and then this thing just, if you can see, let me move my arm, it just moves it right out of the way. Your EGR valve is right down here, was right down in there. It moves out of the way. You can put a 12mm stubby socket in the long extension, 3/8 drive, unloosen them, pull them right out, pull EGR right out. So today, I went and bought a new EGR valve that I'm going to probably just end up using because the truck's got 90,000 miles on it and it's probably time. It might have a weak spring or something like that. So today, I pulled off my intake. I pulled off my EGR valve, and lo and behold, I look at it and it's got carbon. It had little particles of carbon all jammed up in there. That right there is the port that opens and closes. I'll see if I can show you that in a second here. So to free it up, you take an Allen. Yeah, it's a 4. Shove it in that little port like this here. Just like that. Then you take your socket and you just turn it left and right, left and right, left and right, and it'll crack that carbon that's up, and it'll hold it. And as you can see, you hear a little click. That means that it's a spring on the inside that actuates down, lets exhaust gas recirculate through to your intake system to be reburned or to be burned again. Sorry about the blurriness there. So I'm gonna go ahead on and replace it today, just because I don't feel like fucking with it again, in the next couple days. But I wanted to show you guys this. This is the update that I'm giving you. You don't have to actually take the intake off unless you really want to clean it. But I suggest that you do take it completely off, because it was really dirty. Like I done some major cleaning on this thing. Like all this gunk in the corner, it's all carbon for me spraying a couple cans of carb cleaner and stuff like that. So what you do, you take these 10mm bolts out, one there, there. You unloosen this solenoid here for your VTEC, your VTEC motor, and you just pull it up, kind of pry it up a little bit. What you want to make sure and be careful of is this rubber gasket. You can reuse as long as it's not crushed all the way, and it still looks pretty decent. you know, around everything, and it seals. That's what you want to be careful of. This one looks pretty decent, so I just reused it from I'm gonna just reuse it anyway. So, all right. And also, when you pull it up, this has a tendency to stick. It's got a little rubber gasket right here too. You want to make sure that's fully seated before you put it back together, or else, you know, you'll have some running problems. So you want to make sure that's fully seated there all the way. And that little motor there, this motor here can actuates the flap for your VTEC to put so that, you know, more air can go into your cylinders via these little ports right here. So you got one little port there, one on each, pretty much each intake cylinder, each intake on the manifold for each cylinder. So like I said, I cleaned it up yesterday. This is like 100% better than what it was. It was so carboned up, it wasn't even funny. So let's move this out of the way, and I'll show you what to do to clean the port. Because most people, all you really need to do is clean the port. So this little pipe here that runs along there, the center of that goes directly down into your intake. It has a port that goes through, on down, and onto the circular part of the EGR port. Okay, I'm gonna pause it right here because we're gonna be taking this particular one off. So this bolt here, and that bolt there, that pipe slides and then pops out, comes right out, and I'll show you what to do at that point. Hold on. All right, we're back. All right, got those two little 10mm bolts out. One right there, one right there. As you can see, the pipe just kind of goes around in there, kind of moves around. So what you want to do is you want to take that pipe, slide it back, up and back. Got it. And it pops out. You see that little hose there? That hole right there was plugged completely up with carbon before I cleaned it. This whole pipe was pretty much all carboned up. This whole area was all carboned up. And then down on the inside there was all plugged up with carbon. So what you want to do to alleviate that is, what I bought was, I tried to find like a snake, or like a, you know, some kind of you know, something to get down in there to get the carbon out. So I ended up spraying a bunch of stuff and using my air hose and blew a bunch of chunks out and stuff like that. So instead of doing that today, and firing up the air compressor, what I bought was this little claw ditty. You know, it has a claw on the end of it, so you can retrieve like lost nuts and bolts and things. That sucked. So yeah, and it's got a little honer on the end of it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just stick that down in the EGR port, and we'll see if there's any more carbon in there. Oh, look at that. Dirty, dirty, dirty. Dirty, dirty, dirty. So we're gonna reach down in there. Go. Alright, so there's no really big pieces of carbon left like there was yesterday, and that's what actually clogged this one up, was a couple little chunks of carbon. So that's my update. I'll pause it here, put it back together. I might spray some more carb cleaner down there to get it a little bit better. But that's the update, and hope you guys enjoy wrenching. I'll give you guys an update in a second. Alright guys, continuance of the update here. Alright, so I just fired up the air compressor, got the air hose there. the nozzle about to blow in here, and it should come out through there. I just filled it up with carb cleaner, so hopefully I don't have to do this again. Alright, there's my rag. See what came out of there. See those chunks? Get a light here. Those chunks of carbon. That's what'll clog the EGR valve up pretty quick. That's those big chunks there. That'll make that little valve go crazy, and it'll give you a p0404 code. All those big chunks, because it'll catch this valve. Here's the new EGR. It's got the same kind of valve right there, and that opens and closes and opens and closes via this solenoid here. And if it tries to close and it doesn't close all the way because one of these little pieces of carbon, or one of the big pieces of carbon, has gotten stuck in there, then it'll give you a p0404 code. So that's where we're at. Down in there, it looks okay. It looks pretty decent, but I'm gonna fill it up again and keep spraying it till I get a relatively clean and decent EGR port. As you can see down on there, let me zoom in here. All that crud right there. All that crud right there, that came out of the EGR port. So that's what clogs it up. That's what gives you the p0404 code. That's what gives you the p0401 code. So, alright guys. Before that, it was just giving me the code, and it was just really annoying. Like every so often, when I fill up, every time when I get like a little bit low on gas, like a quarter of a tank or half a tank of coat, the check engine light will pop on, and I knew it was that. So, pulled everything apart. That was all plugged up. Literally, I say about 75%, 80% was all carbon plugged up. This tube here that came out of the intake was all plugged up, about 80-85%. And the intake itself, the whole, like when you take these bolts off, you pull the intake up, and underneath there it just had a bunch of carbon, and through that little port where my air nozzle is now sticking, had a bunch of carbon down there. So alright, I'm on the time schedule, so I gotta get this thing done and put it back together. Thanks for watching, and subscribe if you like.